history just got weird. Adolf Hitler was a dictator known for his ruthless rules, militarization, and aggressive policies. He was the leader of the Nazi Party in Germany. But here's something most people miss. He had a lot of hidden facts that the world is not aware of. These facts of Adolf Hitler's personality are not widely recognized, but they do give a unique insight into his character. So let's dig into the details of that secret side of Adolf Hitler. Believe it or not, Adolf Hitler, who was responsible for so much suffering, had a peculiar habit. He was a vegetarian. While he was causing chaos and destruction to humans, he had a soft spot for animals, and thus he avoided meat. He became a vegetarian by choice and followed a strict green diet for much of his life. Even in meetings and lunches with his generals, Hitler would eat green and try to make the others eat green as well. Because of this, most of his generals stopped eating meat themselves. It is known that if a general ate meat, Hitler would tell them tales about how much pain animals have to suffer in the slaughterhouse. He also had a dog that he named Blondie, and he loved her like her own child. Some people claim that he found this dog in the wreck of World War I and had kept it ever since. But actually, it was Martin Bormann, one of Hitler's closest friends, who gifted Blondie to him in 1941 on the occasion of her 3rd birthday. Hitler quickly formed a strong bond with Blondie. He even restricted hunting and issued guidelines for transporting animals from location to location. Most of his generals claimed that he was a very different person when he was around animals. It was like he had a change of heart every time he saw an animal suffering. Hitler used to say that walking his dog is his meditation. He loved to go on walks with his dog Blondie. If he had to make a stressful decision, he would first take his dog out for a walk. During the walk, Hitler would think about ways of killing his enemies. He looked serene on these walks, but deep down, he was always plotting something sinister. The more walks he took, the worse he did. Dog walking was not a habit or necessity for Hitler. For him, it was a strategy to get out of the influence of his generals and make his own decisions. And not a single soul was allowed to accompany him and his dog on their walks. And he did these walks anytime he wanted, whether early in the morning or late in the night. Though apart from his love for Blondie, he was crazy about watching movies. Strange, isn't it? That was something Hitler had in common with today's generation. Like us, Hitler loved to binge-watch movies, but because there was no Netflix during that time, he watched movies in cinemas with his close generals. When the war stress got too much for him, he would personally invite the generals to go on movie nights with him. According to his generals, his favorite movies were King Kong and Snow White. And you know Mickey Mouse? That was one of his favorite characters. Despite his love for movies and cartoons, he had this religious side as well. During his early days, Hitler wanted to be a priest. He attended a Catholic church and was part of the choir. In fact, he even attended vocal lessons to sing better. Most people who remembered him singing in the church say that he had an angelic voice, and it would calm their soul when Hitler would sing. However, he later went against Catholic churches and forbade people from talking about his inspiration of becoming a priest. Considering this side of Hitler, do you think you can stop this man from whistling at least? According to Hitler's close ones and war generals, he loved to whistle. And not just random whistles, he whistled to the melody of songs. People said that his whistling was excellent. He was often whistling to the tune of Walt Disney's When You Wish Upon a Star, and a song that was famous back in his days, Big Bad Wolf. It was quite ironic when you realize that he did turn into a big bad wolf afterwards as the war progressed. What's more, people loved his whistling so much that they would request him to whistle for them. He was always whistling at dinner parties and war meetings. Similarly, Hitler's love for sugar cakes wasn't a secret for us. If you wanted to win his heart, you just had to bring him a sugar cake. It is said that he would specially request the bakers to put swastika on sugar cakes for him. He ate dozens and dozens of sugar cakes in a day. Moreover, he said that it helped him with the stress of war. So before and after every war meeting, Hitler would stuff himself with as many sugar cakes as possible. Most of his generals brought him sugar cakes at dinner parties and war meetings. Hitler even hosted fun contests where he would taste sugar cakes of all his guests and tell them who brought him the yummiest cake to eat. And because too much sugar is not good for health, his stomach was always upset. He was always gassy and had to fart quite a lot. And he did it shamelessly. Because no one had the guts to speak about it, he farted like a horse. There are claims that he often went to a doctor to help him with this humiliating condition, but these claims have no basis. Some people even claim that Hitler was using pills for diabetes that caused so much farting, but this is a lie as well. The truth is that he was in this condition because of eating too many sugar cakes, and he had to suffer with humiliating farts for the rest of his life. If he had let go of the sugar cakes, he might have been free from constant farts. But Hitler never stopped eating sugar cakes. In fact, in the bunker where he committed suicide, the last thing that Hitler ate was, guess what? A sugar cake. Another sweet side of Hitler was that he wanted to be an artist. But what most people don't know is that he made quite a fortune from his paintings, only not when he needed it the most. When Hitler was a young man, he was an ambitious artist. He used to sell his paintings and postcards to make a living. He even applied to an art school, but was turned down by the admission officer. According to that officer, there was no soul in Hitler's paintings, and the overall painting depicted something cruel and dirty, disgusting even. When Hitler heard these remarks, he gave them no thought. Instead, he continued to pursue a career in art and applied to an art school for the second time. This time, the rejection stung him very hard. He was told that his paintings were nothing unique, and even a toddler could do better than him. His failure ignited his heart with hatred, and he left his dreams of becoming a painter aside with his dreams of becoming a priest. But after World War I, his paintings were sold for millions. If he had wanted, he could recontinue his dreams of becoming a painter, but he never tried again. He had spent 4 years of his life trying to be an artist. There was no more fight left in him when it came to art. He switched battlefields and fought a different kind of war. His life's tragedy was that his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She fought against this disease and passed away in a painful state. In respect of his mother, Hitler funded research for cancer's cure. Most people say that this was the first thing he did after he came to power. He collected funds from the wealthy and directed them towards research on cancer cure. His mother's loss was too much for him, and he wanted other families to never feel this kind of loss. But it wasn't only his mother who had an unfortunate medical condition. When Hitler became a dictator, soldiers started a rumor that he only had one testicle. The enemy armies made fun of it and even sang songs about how the ruthless dictator only had one testicle. While most people thought it was a rumor started by hateful soldiers in Hitler's army or his enemies, reports from his doctor confirmed that news. Theories say that he must have lost it while he was fighting in World War I, but he never fought on the front lines, so this is highly unlikely. You know, in such a condition, it's definitely not a good idea to smoke, right? But Hitler was a chain smoker. He used to smoke at least 45 cigarettes a day. But the good thing is that when his health started to go bad, he made changes to his lifestyle. The first change was that he would no longer smoke a cigarette. He was the first national leader who ran campaigns on bad effects of smoking on health and tried to stop the nation from smoking. He went so far as to build smoking areas in the bomb shelters for soldiers who were addicted to smoking. He hated the sight of anyone who smoked near him. If someone smoked when he was around, Hitler would go mad with anger and hurl abuses at the smoking person. Everyone was terrified of him, so when Hitler was around, no one even dared to light a cigarette. Though even when Hitler was considered an extremely strict dictator, he respected the opinions of his war generals. If someone went against his decisions, Hitler would remove them from the position of authority, but he would never hurt them. He understood that differences can arise in many situations, so he always tried to look at things from others' perspectives and tried to show them his perspective as well. On the other hand, Stalin hated feedback and opinion of his war generals. When someone went against the wishes of Stalin, he killed them in cold blood. This is one of the reasons why Hitler was so successful in his early years as a dictator. He fooled so many people into following him, but he had the ability to see things from their perspective. People thought he was the right leader for them because they thought he shared the same perspective. But the most feared leader in the world was a completely different person to his wife. There's a famous incident where his wife was recording him, and Hitler said, "Look at me, so old. I shall be the one filming you. You are so young." He never raised his voice to his wife and respected her like a gentleman. Maybe because he was compromising with him and loved him just like an ideal wife would. Anyway, he loved her to his core, and if you were around him for longer, you could see it in his words and eyes as well. And this was all we had on Hitler. What do you think about him now? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family, and please take a second to like and subscribe to our channel as well. We'll come back with another exciting video.